Why the Joker is Batman's greatest enemy. The Joker, the most popular among Batman's rogues gallery, and probably the most popular villain in the whole of the DC universe, is also widely regarded to be Batman's greatest and most dangerous foe, and again, as well, one of the most dangerous villains in the entire DC universe period. While some have argued the position as belonging to other rogues, such as Ra's al Ghul, Harvey Two-Face Dent, Bane, Mr. Freeze, etc., generally it is the Joker that most consider deserving of the status. What I'm doing here is attempting to explain why that is. What are the reasons for his status as both the most popular villain among readers and the most feared villain in Batman's universe? A common argument against the Joker is that he is merely a human being, lacking totally in any superpowered abilities, at least in the usual sense of the word. He does not possess super strength or speed or agility. He is not invulnerable. He can be injured with bullets and knives and other such weaponry. He cannot shoot lasers from his eyes or lift inanimate objects with his mind. He is not a metahuman as they're referred to in the DC universe. He is simply a human. Though, due to his unique physiology, as a result of the chemical bath which transformed him into the Joker to begin with, the Joker has displayed some extraordinary abilities, such as an immunity to most toxins and drugs. For example, when locked up in Arkham Asylum, it has been noted that medications administered to him, such as antipsychotic drugs, sedatives, etc., have had little to no effect on his overall state or condition. He is immune to his own poisonous concoctions, as exampled in Grant Morrison's The Clown at Midnight, when he grinds up capsules of his Joker venom, as it's called, in his mouth and then spits the liquid into a guard's face, which promptly kills the man. The Joker is said also to possess an unusually strong immune system, and is able to recover from both minor and major injury in remarkably quick time, as well as possessing an extremely high tolerance for pain. It has even been suggested that he is a masochist and very much enjoys pain. He as well has survived numerous circumstances which likely would have killed almost anyone else, such as swimming through a vat of toxic chemical waste, being shot and stabbed innumerable times, including once having been shot point blank in the face, falling from bridges and building tops, being caught in massive explosions, beaten senseless by various superpowered beings of vigilantes, etc. Another unusual aspect of the Joker is that his own blood is apparently poisonous, as shown once more in Morrison's The Clown at Midnight when a mosquito lands on his arm. Having drunk his blood, almost immediately the insect falls to the floor dead. However, the Joker's one quality which arguably could be described as superpowered would be his mind, and it is also his mind which really qualifies him to be regarded as Batman's greatest enemy. His insanity has been shown to be of such an extreme degree that lasting telepathic control over him has proven an impossibility, as demonstrated when John Johns, or Martian Manhunter, the Spectra, and Deimos, the god of terror and favored son of Ares, the god of war, were unable to maintain their telepathic hold and possession over him, losing control of his mind in quick order. It even has been theorized that the Joker is not actually insane at all, but possesses a kind of ultrasensory perception called supersanity, which describes him as perceiving everything around him and in the universe in its true state, saying he is acutely and fully aware of not only himself, but everything around him, incapable of filtering any of it out, unable to ignore any portion of the sensory information he receives, and unable to discriminate between what he does and does not wish to see. And because his mind sees everything in such a pure state, because he is unable to dilute or taint any of it with personal bias or experience, and because he processes so much information so quickly, without the ability to block any of it out, his only true mechanism of defense is for his personality to change and adjust to whatever the circumstance or situation presents itself to be at the time, to mold his persona to fit what's going on around him, rather than molding what's going on around him to fit his persona, as the rest of us do. We cope with the sensory information we receive by allowing through subconsciously only what our minds can and will accept as reality, or by changing and morphing certain bits of information to the point where they become acceptable and manageable and believable. But according to the theory of supersanity, the Joker's brain won't allow that. It can't do it, and depending on what he's exposed to that day, in order that he remain functional, his entire personality shifts to accommodate it, to work with it rather than against it. In that regard, the Joker can be said to possess superpowers of observation in a way, and is able to see and is aware of everything. This is further supported by his being one of the only characters to break the so-called fourth wall in comics and speak directly to the reader, showing awareness that he is a character in a comic book, while everyone else remains unaware of this fact. Also, because of his extreme insanity, or supersanity, whichever you prefer, the Joker is an utterly unpredictable character, almost always lacking any apparent motivation for his crimes. He does not operate in any kind of logical or reasonable capacity. Now, for a detective such as Batman, someone who himself operates most effectively by using deductive reasoning and logic, going up against someone who he cannot predict or prognosticate or anticipate, someone who doesn't play by any real rules or reason, would be extremely frustrating and off-putting. Really, the Joker's only motivation for anything he does is to elicit a laugh, generally from himself or to prove some philosophical point. He doesn't care at all about money or financial gain and steals only as a means of supporting what he regards as his artistic endeavors, nor does he concern himself with gaining any form of social power or status. Essentially, the Joker is a nihilist in the truest sense of the word. He regards life as a joke and sees death as that joke's punchline. He gives no acknowledgement and places no value on any sort of man-made rules or standards. He is not immoral, he is amoral, meaning questions of morality have no relevance to him or his actions, no impact or influence. Morality as a concept to him does not exist and is nothing more than a made-up set of directives implemented by the human race to help ensure their survival. In his mind, there is no difference between right and wrong because right and wrong in application to action and opinion does not even exist. He sees life and everything that goes with it, the things people value and cherish and regard as important, as totally meaningless and without purpose. And because everything is without purpose or meaning, then it doesn't matter what he does because, in the end, it has no impact or consequence. And because he views life as meaningless, he then also thinks the only worthwhile endeavor in life is to have fun and to enjoy it. He is purely a creature dictated by desire and not need. Further, the Joker is a fearless person. He is not afraid of anything and thus cannot be intimidated or coaxed into doing another's will or bidding. His lack of fear has been demonstrated numerous times, such as when Jonathan Crane, also known as the Scarecrow, released a stream of his patented fear toxin directly into the Joker's face, and the Joker's only reaction was to laugh hysterically, referring to the sensations of the toxin as being like a drug high, before proceeding to beat Scarecrow senseless with a chair. He had an identical reaction when the villain Visionary, who possesses the ability to hypnotize his victims into seeing their worst fears, attempted to use his powers on the Joker, and it had no effect other than the Joker again saying it felt like being on a drug high. And again, when the Teen Titans heroine Raven attempted to project his deepest and worst fears into his mind, and the Joker's only reaction was to laugh uncontrollably. Perhaps the Joker simply lacks the hormones chemically released by the brain to feel fear, or, rather, instead of his brain releasing fear-inducing hormones in reaction to a threat, it releases endorphins, or feel-good hormones. Or maybe he is just so mentally warped that things which terrify and paralyze other people with fear are, to him, simply humorous and amusing. Whatever the reason, it's clear the Joker has no fear, also demonstrated in his reactions to severe beatings, in which he simply laughed hysterically and even encouraged his attackers to beat him harder. How this factors into the Joker being Batman's greatest and most dangerous foe is because, essentially, it renders the Joker unstoppable. Because he isn't afraid of being physically brutalized and, it seems, incapable of being mentally brutalized, and because he is unafraid to die, one of the Joker's greatest desires is to drive Batman to actually murder him, thus destroying the one great difference between them. Because he lacks fear, period, you cannot reason with him or do anything to him to persuade him to stop whatever he's doing. You cannot threaten him or blackmail him because he doesn't care about what happens to himself and he doesn't care about anything or anyone else. He holds no value for anything. Basically, the Joker is impossible to control, and thus poses a massive threat to everyone and everything. This also brings about a point of how Batman and the Joker are essentially very much alike, two sides of the same coin, if you will, and how that factors into the Joker being Batman's arch-nemesis. It is in their differences that their similarities actually reside. They both are fearless, but for opposing reasons. Batman because he cares too much about everything and everyone, the Joker because he doesn't care at all about anything. While Batman regards everything with a sort of uber-seriousness, the Joker takes nothing seriously at all. While Batman functions and operates through perfect logic and sensibility and order, down to everything needing a scientific explanation even, the Joker functions and operates through total chaos and abandonment, without rules or order of any kind or need for meaning or reason. They both are geniuses and possess many talents, but use their genius and talents for opposing reasons. Batman to stop crime and destruction and pain, the Joker to cause it. Batman regards all life as sacred and considers it his duty to prevent crime, and no matter what, will not kill or allow anyone to be killed, even if that means putting his own life in harm's way. The Joker regards all life as pointless and without meaning, and he will do anything in order to prove and demonstrate this to the world, even if it means placing himself in harm's way as well. And they both are wholly committed to their beliefs. What it boils down to is, the Joker is Batman's perfect foil. In a way, they prove to be an antidote for each other, sort of canceling each other out.